going back to school or being able to take time off work to raise any children or future children you might have. Money can be a major concern. Now imagine these two things, but knowing you at least be minimally financially secure, a lot more attractive of a prospect now, isn't it? The ability for you or anyone to take time off work without going homeless is a very nice thought and something that should be possible in the modern age. I'm going to talk today about the notions of a basic income and its benefits in the most universal sense. Basic income is some form of payment allotted on a monthly basis to every individual in society, regardless of whether they work, can find work, or even want to work. And today I'm going to talk about the need for a basic income, how we could possibly implement a basic income, and give you a brief view about what life might be like if we do succeed in developing a basic income. There are many problems socially and economically which could be ameliorated in some part with the introduction of a basic income. Basic income is necessary for more democratized citizenship, where freedom and citizenship are worth an equal amount to everybody. According to a quote I found from Carol Paven in Democratizing Citizenship, some advantages of a basic income are: modern universal democracy rests on the premise that individuals are born or are naturally free and are equal to each other. That is to say, they're self-governing or autonomous. She goes on to say that as self-government is to be continued, people need to interact with the government and economy in themselves in ways that allow them to further increase their autonomy. This means that for universal democracy to exist, people need to have freedom over, or more autonomy over their own lives. People are currently lacking this self-autonomy in all three areas. For example, somebody living paycheck to paycheck does not have the luxury or freedom of attempting to find a new job or going back to school to better themselves. If they quit their job to find a new one or go back to school, they run the very real risk of becoming homeless. This reduces their economic autonomy in a very fundamental way. And this autonomy is necessary for the survival, for universal democracy. Another example would be somebody who does not want to work for a wage, but rather attempt writing a novel. Currently, they lack the autonomy to wholeheartedly undertake this undertaking, thus once again reducing their ability to make decisions for themselves and their personal freedom. Many citizens are unable to participate as actively as they would like in the non-wage earning parts of society. I am sure many of you have run into this in your personal lives. I would love to volunteer more of my life, my time, but I have to work, or I want to go take care of my grandparents 2 states over for the next couple of months because I need someone, but I'll lose my dead-end job and have trouble finding another one, which runs the risk of, once again, becoming homeless and reducing your personal freedom as well. A large number of people living paycheck to paycheck, they can't afford any even temporary lapse in employment. To quote Carol Paven again, a basic income provides a lifelong security that helps safeguard other rights. Here Carol is referring not only to explicit rights, such as the right to vote, but also implicit rights. That is to say, the right to be your own person, to make your own decisions, and not be solely bound by work. A basic income will help guarantee these rights and everybody's ability to have a chance to do something besides work until they retire or die. And a basic income is necessary as an instrument for social change and economic stability. Economic insecurity keeps people from looking for better jobs, or in some cases looking for employment at all. Philip von Paris, in A Basic Income for All, discussing some benefits of a universal basic income, states that a basic income could help avoid unemployment trap, which is, and I quote, whether it makes any sense for an unemployed person to look for such a job does not only depend on the difference between income at work and out of work. What deters people from getting out to work is often the reasonable fear of uncertainty. When starting a new job or leaving one or even looking for one, your social benefits that you're currently receiving if you're unemployed could change, and that the fear of uncertainty of change and losing what you have after you leave a job before you look for a new one prevents people from looking for a new job or even entering the workforce entirely. The universal basic income would help alleviate people's fears of uncertainty when looking for a new job, or the currently unemployed when they're looking for work, knowing that their benefits will not go away, provides some stability in their lives. A basic income will work towards bringing about more social equality. There are two types of work, paid work and unpaid work. Currently, most of our social programs only take into the notion of paid work. A man or a woman who decides to stay at home and raise their children is still working, but they're not being paid for the work. A basic wage would give people the freedom to pursue either wage-earning work or non-wage-earning work, depending on what they decide is best for themselves and their family. A basic income is necessary to give people more freedom to choose what's best for themselves, irrespective of their current socioeconomic status. We've talked about why we need a basic income. Now let's talk about some of the tangible benefits of a basic income and at what level of sustenance we could set a basic income at. Instituting basic income will help alleviate personal economic problems. One key point to self-autonomy is the ability to make independent decisions. And then we decisions, and as we have seen, these decisions can be hampered by one's work status. For example, someone working in unsafe factory conditions may be pressured to stay working because they will become homeless if they quit to look for another job. Basic income here solves two problems. One, it allows the worker to find better working conditions, and secondly, will force the factory to improve their working conditions or run the risk of losing all their employees. The question then becomes, at what level do we set basic income? I would argue that eventually we need our basic income to be at a sustenance level so you can live off of it. And I agree with David Purdy's statement of citizenship, basic income in the state. The one key benchmark, however, is the standard of sustenance inscribed within existing social security skills. Essentially, eventually we can set our basic income at the current poverty line. This has a couple benefits. One, it allows us to reduce our current spending on those social programs. And secondly, people using them currently won't see any reduction in benefits. Instituting basic income will also help lead to social change and bring about a more democratic citizenship. One key aspect of a truly democratic society is the freedom of choice, but that choice is currently limited by economic or social factors. As previously mentioned, there are two kinds of work, paid and unpaid work. Having a basic income will fix this problem. He or she can take care of their children and still be paid for their work, which is previously unpaid. In a more general sense, this would help to equalize wages in familial units, where often one parent works while another one takes care of the children. And according to Carol Payman, again, a basic income would have two important consequences for democratization. First, it would allow individuals to enter or leave relationships that violate individual self-government or that involve unsafe, unhealthy, or demeaning conditions. Overall, basic income would give more people freedom of choice to do what they see as best with their own lives. An example of this, say you want to volunteer help underprivileged kids 20 hours a week, you can't because you have to work. If you have a basic income, at least you could work less and help more children. Establishing a basic income at sustenance levels will allow people more self-autonomy and help you afford for positive social and economic change. Now let's envision a life of what basic income might be like. So, would you like to have the opportunity to do more of this in your life? Potentially that in your life, if you like, sometime in the future, or be stuck with what I like to call angry boss lady. Your entire time you can't quit because you're afraid you won't be able to find another job. And today I've shown you why we need a basic income and how implementing a basic income at sustenance levels will also help solve these problems of economic uncertainty and further democratization. While the current political climate in the United States might not be accepting of instituting a basic income, I believe it's time to begin a serious and frank discussion in our country about necessary future implementation of some sort of basic income system. Please let your representatives know that we as a country need to have, at some point in the near future, a conversation about this if we're to move towards a more liberalized democracy and socially just society. You can go there if you're really are into it and you want to help people out and talk to your representatives about it. And it's a conversation we're going to have sooner or later. Hopefully we can have it sooner rather than later.